that beat.
Hey, yo, freedom wave is my way out. Bars, that's the payout. Till then, I'm trucking, baby, day in and day out. The plan to leave housing, I keep my wife from frowning like Erykah Badu. I'm charging a common 3,000. A billionaire black man free, that's unheard of. They barely want a real nigga living in the suburbs. But y'all describe us by one word. White boy said ghetto. I said, nah, nigga, you got some nerve. Devils here in front and they wanting the vibe from us. They love to hear stories on how we survive summers. I'm from the ghetto, recognize I define gutter. I'll forever be close to a jungle like Nas' brother. See, these days, principles and morals in the dirt. It's backwards, his best friend ratted on Lil Dirt. It's madness on the earth and it's sadness in the first. According to minutes that's recorded.
Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Connected Dots. I am your host, Lou Icewater, aka Duquan Hicks, as we do this live in effect. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? First of all, I want to shout out to some people before I get started. Shout out to my man Ox Delight, San Antonio, Texas. Shout out to Patrick Price, Black Heart Clothing, San Antonio, Texas. Newark Stand Up. Also, I want to shout out to my brother DJ Shakim. What's good? How you doing, bro? Also, Mr. Flo Wins. What's good? Octa Barber. What's good? M Rose in Sight. You know what it is. What's good? I want to shout out to my man, you know, Sal, better yet known as Dean. Sal Dean, what's good? How you doing out there, bro? Also, I want to shout out to everybody from NYC, everybody in Charlotte, North Carolina, you know what I'm saying? And everybody all across the world. Please to my people in Atlanta, GA, Dockway, Shamitz, what's good? Let's get it in. So, I just had to get the shout outs out the way before we get started. This is how I do sometimes, man. So let me know what you think and what it could be and what it could be like, you know what I mean? So I want to talk about some things today, and I want y'all to, you know, catch the vibe on what I talk about and how I talk about things, all right? I want to talk about, why do we hide our emotions? Do we hide our emotions because, is it for protection, or is it because of weakness? I want you to understand that. Why do we hide our emotions? Do you think you hide your emotions from people because, is it from protection, or does it show signs of weakness? And the reason why I ask this is because sometimes in life there's things that happen and you don't want people to really see how you really feel, especially as black men. We're supposed to be the strongest man or the strongest person on earth. So when we feel pain, we don't want our daughters or our kids to see us in pain. So we show a different type of result. You know what I'm saying? Some people think it's weak if we cry, if we tear up as a black man. But you got to understand, we feel pain, and sometimes it might be a day where I might cry. I'll give you an example. I'll give you one example, and I'm not ashamed to talk about this. You know what I'm saying? It was me and my daughter Kayla. We was living together, right? And I was a younger dude, and at the time, I didn't understand what paying bills was about. I paid bills, but I didn't understand what it was about. So one day I didn't pay the light bill like I was supposed to. You know what I mean? And I didn't have lights for 2 days. And I had to explain, we had candles over the place, but I had to explain to Kayla what it was. And I teared up because I said, you know what? I don't ever want this to happen to me ever again. That's why me and my daughter were like this, because she watched me become a man in the process of being a father. But I'm not ashamed to tell people what I went through, because that's life. Nobody's perfect. But on my journey, I didn't pay the light bill. And I think I was like, I was in my 30s. You know what I mean? I didn't pay the light bill. And she was like, Dad, where the lights out? Da, 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 da. And I said, I didn't pay the bill, but I was crying. Not crying out loud, but tearing up, because I didn't want my daughter to see that pain. I didn't want her to see me go through that. But like I told you before, I'm not afraid to show my pain on how I feel or what I've been through, because this is me. I'm a changed man. But back then, that's what happened. It wasn't a sign of weakness. I was just showing her that dad is human too. Sometimes we as fathers, or we as black men, we need help. We don't know how to go about getting help. So we play that bold role of being strong and being proud, but instead, there's times that we need help too. You know what I'm saying? How many times, brothers, back in the day, you ain't have gas money and you had to use pennies, to put gas in your car? How many times? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm being real on that. So this is what I'm talking about when I mean by protection, or what I mean by weakness when we show our emotions. It just depends. When you have kids, your kids look at you like you're the rock. Like nothing is afraid. My dad ain't afraid of nothing. That's true. But there might be a time or two where your father shows a sign of weakness because he can't take it anymore. Or sometimes he might have put his family in a position that they didn't have to be in. You get what I'm saying? So I want people to understand that. Sometimes there's going to be times when those things happen. It's just how you handle those situations when they happen. So like I said before, I want you to answer this and comment on it. When you show emotions, this is why we hide our emotions, because I think some brothers, because of the ego, we don't want you to know how we really feeling. So brothers out there and kids, whatever, answer this. Why do black men, or why do men in general, why do we hide our emotions when it comes to certain things? Are we trying to protect the kids, or trying to protect the family? Or is it that we don't want you to know what's really going on with us? That's why we tell you, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, because, women are more worriers than we are. We don't worry. We just be like, the hand is dealt. Let's do what we got to do to make that hand better. You dig what I'm saying? I just want you to understand how I'm dropping the knowledge down so you can understand where I'm coming from. Okay? Speaking of help, let's talk about people crying for help. And then when you give them the help, they don't apply to the help. You get what I'm saying? I'll give you another example of this. Now, I knew someone. I ain't going to say his name, okay? And y'all might not know. I'm sure none of y'all know this cat anyway, so I'm still not going to say the name. That's called being messy. We ain't messy on this show. We not messy on this show, okay? Go to the other podcasts. I'm not a messy dude, all right? But anyway, this dude needed help. He was complaining. I picked him up one day. He was walking. I picked him up. He was driving. He was talking. He said, yo, man, it's hard for a person to get a job. It's hard for a fella to get a job. Giving me the same sob story. So I said, yo, my stepdad, I know someone that can help you. All you got to do is make that phone call. And no matter what you got, he will help you. So I gave him the number, right? Dude called, my stepdad, and pick up and answer. Didn't even leave a message. How you going to call and you need help and you don't leave a message? That's stupid. So then I seen him. I said, did you call him? He said, yeah, he wasn't there, but I didn't leave a message. I said, yo, you got to leave a message. You got to call and leave a message, man. That's just how it is. This is real words. I'm not speaking this is real words. So, dude never called back, never did exactly, just was doing odd jobs. So this is what I'm talking about. There's a lot of people that say they need help. You give them help, and then they don't accept the help. I'll give you another example. Since I'm on my example tip. I was coming home from work. We had like a little get together at my job. You know what I'm saying? So they gave me like a big box of Bojangles chicken. I said, oh shoot, I'm gonna take this home. All right. Dude was on the corner in Charlotte. Had a sign, he need food. So I pulled up, rolled the windows. I said, yo man, you take this whole thing. Nah, I don't want that. So that means you wanted money for booze or whatever it is. Don't come with the sign saying you need food and I give you food and you reject it. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm talking about. A lot of people claim they need help. And then when you give them the help, they don't want to take it. So that's called running game. I'm a city dude. And when you start trying to run game, I leave you right where you at. You know what I'm saying? Don't play them games with me. Or don't play them games with other people. All I'm saying is, America, a lot of people like to run game and claim that they need this and they need that. And then when you give it to them, they don't know how to receive it or perceive it. It's like they can't believe they're getting help. But remember, you asked for the help. You asked for the help, so I'm giving you the help, and now you don't want to take the help. So that tells me a lot about you. That's the character. The character. We got to get better with character, because it seems like dudes are becoming more chicks than ever. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that many solid dudes out there anymore. I remember dudes used to stand on something. Dudes used to be solid. Yeah, I'm going in on the men this time. You know what I mean? I'm going on the men because it seemed like that solid stuff is gone. Dudes being solid, they ain't solid no more. You know what I mean? For real, they not. And I'm just going in on them. That's just what I do here. Yeah, I play with my hat a lot. I do. That's all right. But listen to the message. Don't look at the hat, you dig? Unless you want to get one. You all right? So, talking about that, let's talk about building bridges. What do I mean by building bridges? I'll give you an example of building bridges, okay? You ever notice the loyalty? Loyalty is gone with maybe with your friends, your people, or whatever. This is what I mean by let's build bridges to keep it strong. Look at Tony Ayo and look at Memphis Bleek. No matter what you say about Jay or 50 Cent, they ride or die. They there. That's called loyalty. That's called a strong bridge. Why we can't have this in life? Period. If you got these dudes that's loyal no matter what they do, no matter what 50 do, no matter what Jay do, and they still on their team, why we can't be this way in life with people? Why we can't be this way when we can be this way? This is what I mean by building a bridge. When you build a bridge, it has to have a foundation at the bottom, right? Just like a family has to have a foundation, a bridge has to have a foundation. In order for it to have a good, strong structure, you have to make sure that structure beneath the bridge is stable. Same thing with family, same thing with life, same thing with money. It's all about building bridges. If you want to be in building your own business, you have to have a couple of people that you know that can help you sustain the business, that can help you get to where you got to go. This is what I mean by building bridges. All I see is bridges falling down, bridges burning, because cats don't want to do nothing together. Everybody's all about self. And this is the problem. This is the problem. Everybody is all about self. Everybody's all about self. Self-empowerment, this is why we can't do nothing, man. This is what I mean by having loyal friends. I have childhood friends from New York City that I can still talk to if necessary. And I've known these guys for over 30 to maybe almost 40 years in the game. I got friends here who I've known since I've been here we're tight like this. And no matter what, we're not jealous of each other, and we do what we gotta do. And sometimes we talk like brothers. That's how we supposed to do. And sometimes we have odds with each other, but still, that's how we are. That's what you're supposed to do. You know, you're supposed to have somebody that's gonna correct you when you're wrong and praise you when you're right. So this is what I'm talking about, America. We have to get back to building bridges. And that goes for you too, ladies. Because I notice y'all don't have no friends. You might have one girlfriend. Y'all don't even talk about your childhood friends. I mean, you don't never hear a lady say, well, I'm still friends with my childhood friends. You don't hear that. You don't hear that because y'all can't get along with each other. So I need y'all to build your bridges too. I don't care if it's with broken fingernails or a messed up weave. I don't care. Build your bridges strong as well. You notice dudes always have their boys. I'm going over to my boy's house. You might say, I'm going over to my girl house. That's it. One, singular. Y'all don't have plural. So y'all have to fix these bridges within y'all. And then as black people, we have to fix the fixtures in between us as well. We have to keep building bridges and understand that everything on the bridge might not go right all the time. But that's where you have to be strong and be like, you know what? No matter what he going through or she going through, that's my man or that's my girl, whatever. We going to make it work. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm talking about. Building bridges. That's how you maintain success. You maintain success by the bridges that you built. It starts from the bottom. It starts from the ground. It starts from the foundation. You know what I'm saying? So remember to keep building bridges, man. And when you keep building bridges, things will be the way it is. This is why I call this connected dots. I am connecting the dots so you can understand what we're talking about. I don't always talk about the news, sports. I talk about different things. I talk about empowerment. I talk about uplifting. I talk about getting brothers together. This is what I do on this show. This is what I do on this show. If you are a subscriber, yo, thank you for listening and hearing and passing the word. If you're not, you need to click that button and be a subscriber, because I'm telling you, I'm going to give you knowledge, wisdom, understanding, like man, woman, and child. I'm going to give you everything that you need, everything. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to check those things out, what I'm saying, all right? Also, reminder, always check out the umbrella of things that we got. The Hip Hop Barbershop, we got that. Always check that out. If you want some gun classes, you check out my man, Mr. Flo Wins. You know what I mean? Contact him. You know what I mean? If you want to get some merch, you also contact my man, Stay Foggy. You know what I'm saying? My man, Kenny. You know what I mean? So like I said before, we have everything that you need. Just come at it. If you want merch from me, you know how to hit me. You know what I'm saying? I'm on all social media platforms. Let's do it. So like I said before, and once again, this is Duquan Hicks, aka Lou Ice Water. I want you to understand, please, what I say, take these things and pass them on to your sons, your daughters, your nephews, your nieces, your moms, your pops, and let them know we got to stand together as a united front and do what we must do to survive in this world, because right now this world is grimy, it's sick, and it doesn't care who they spit out or spit in. All right? With that being said, one life, one love, one Lou. Peace.